what do you think about this new idea, which a lot of MAGA people are coming around to? Crazy, but they're calling it MAGA communism to fight the corporate socialism.
Like I said, that is what the left is saying. They make it up. They everything.
Like, you're not getting it. Okay. So I'm making up something that isn't real, and you wouldn't know if you weren't terminally online. So anyways, this isn't a real thing, but myself and a handful of other people have started to use this phrase that no one else really ever uses, so it's probably confusing to you. What do you think about that? If you also hate the elites, the globalists, and George Soros, and Bill Gates. For this segment that I wanted to watch for a really long time, this is Haas of Infrared, his very first IRL stream. And it's looked spectacular for a while. Now, you may have heard of MAGA communism. What is it? What exactly do they represent? Well, I'm sure you've seen that Jackson Hinkle tried to explain MAGA communism to Jimmy Dore, and this might be one of the first times that the concept was just too wild for Jimmy. Even Jimmy Dore was like, nah. Yeah, that's jerk-off material right there. That's just nonsense. But, you know. And this is the guy, Jimmy Dore, again, who's like, we should align with Boogaloo Boys. You know? Hey, the lefties, you should align with the Boogaloo Boys, the guys who want to start the race war. That's who we should align with. Either way, we got Haas of Infrared doing his first, I believe his first IRL on the street interviewing people kind of a segment. I have done them before. They're you know, they're difficult to get into the flow of. We'll say that much. And also, if you're doing them as a troll, sometimes a little bit tricky to first find your legs. But I already love everything about this. I don't know if he's kind of wanting to take back his transphobia of the past, if he's reeling that back in, because he decided to wear a woman's blazer for this, which in and of itself is based. Like, if men want to wear women's clothing and not be shamed for it, hey, I'm all here for that. I'm tired of all these rigid gender stereotypes that we have to adhere to. You know, the idea, like, what happens if Harry Styles wears a dress in public? Does that make him less of a man? Goddamn no. Not at all. And anyone should be able to wear anything. And that includes women who want to wear clothing intended for men, you know? That's completely and utterly fine. Yeah, enjoy yourselves. I live and let live, I say. So if that is the statement that he's trying to make by wearing a women's blazer for the segment, also amazing.
Came across you with the trend hashtag MAGA communism.
Oh damn.
The other day, and I thought it was like a half joke. The idea of MAGA communism.
Oh.
Okay, buddy, let's see a demonstration. Why don't you go to a MAGA or Republican rally and try to convince the people who attend these events that communism is good on camera? I would love to see how it goes. The MAGA
fucking production value. We got tanky production value. What a time to be alive. We don't have flying cars, but we have tanky production value YouTube videos. This is pretty fucking awesome.
The communism thing has to be the funniest fucking thing yet to develop in the past hoax. Imagine any of them saying MAGA communism to an actual Trump supporter on a Trump rally in real life. Like, hello, they'll be treated like fucking freaks. Which, I mean, they are.
Yes.
People on Twitter and people all over social media clearly have a wrong view about MAGA.
I love this. He had to go to a fucking different point, set up, get in frame, record, get all there. Like, damn, son, they're doing the whole thing. It feels like a Daily Show fucking segment. This is already amazing. It doesn't matter where it goes from here, okay? 10 out of 10.
People and the Trump constituency. So let's get right into it. So I've got to ask you, because the media has been saying this.
So I don't know how many it took before he kind of got the flow, because I'm sure there's a couple of them where it seems like he's a little too high energy, you know, like waving the right hand. So I just want to ask you about what do you think about this fucking MAGA communism we're all fucking talking about, fucking know what I mean, man? So I'm sure after a couple of those, the whole thing, he kind of he noticed like less emphatic hand gestures probably made people more comfortable getting close to the microphone so I could get better audio.
Are you a hateful, fascist, racist bigot?
No, sir.
Oh, are you sure? Are you sure? Because see,
they all say that I'm an enemy of the country. I am not. I am loving. I'm honest.
I can't get over this. I'm not gonna make it. This thing is 23 minutes long. I can't even get 1 minute into this. I love everything about this. Oh man. Like, I swear, if Haas could drop all of the fucking super intense misogyny and the like, I could be more racist than you, and the transphobia and stuff, deep down underneath the shell, I think there's a sweetie. I think there's a sweetie underneath it all. Like, look, look how adorable he is talking to this person. Massive smile on his face too at his own jokes, like, ah, are you a big racist? And he's like, deep down.
No, that's the atmosphere that's the only atmosphere we get here, is that it's such a loving.
Oh, we've been here all day.
Recently we saw a railroad strike. I don't know if you heard of it. They used the power to come together to.
Okay, so I said production value at first, and obviously I was wrong. The audio is completely and utterly scuffed. What is probably happening here is either you're using a wireless mic. That would be maybe a mistake for the first shoot. I would replace this with maybe a wired one. And if you are, it could have low batteries, or there's so many people wherever you're interviewing people that there's a lot of different waves crossing over, let's say. I don't know if that's the technical term for it, but that's causing the static and the fucked up penis. Or you could be too far away from the mic itself.
That's an immense level of power that hasn't been tapped into yet.
It should happen. You know, I've said this for many, many years. This country is on the path to another revolution. We walked away from King George because of taxes, right? Where are our taxes right now?
So imagine, to stop this agenda they're pushing, if the MAGA people...
They're still there. You should be paying your taxes, sir. I don't know if you fall below a taxable rate, but they're probably going to come after you if you've decided to just... Oh, where are the taxes now, eh? I just decided not to pay them. Checkmate, libs. Suck it.
People in the Railway Workers United to, you know, bring the government back to the people.
That would be great if everybody could get together and get on the same page.
What if the railway strikers came together with the MAGA people to stop this agenda?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. You're not actually questioning them about MAGA communism. You're trying to pick things you know they'll agree to. Like, if I walked up to a right-winger, I was like, wouldn't it be great if the truckers and from the trucker rally, if they united with the right? Wouldn't that be awesome? And they were like, hell yeah, brother. That's not like... well, then you agree to MAGA communism. That's communism. You didn't know that, but we've done it.
To stop the Green New Deal and to stop the Wall Street and the City of London ruling class from imposing their Great Reset on us.
Well, that needs to happen no matter what.
So the working class needs to come together, use their power, just like the railway strikers, and
Okay, absolutely no hate. That is fucking badass. You roll around with a fucking perched ass real life bird. Yeah, I got no criticisms here. That's fucking that's fucking metal. That's definitely metal. I'm sorry. I wish I had a fucking bird friend that just perched on my shoulder at all times.
And when
Got the power. That's right.
The American country.
That's right. We're the 99%. And all we have to do is
So
stand
scuffed.
up and it's game over for the 1%. Exactly. That's right.
It seems like our government has become completely controlled by this minority of Wall Street and City of London globalists. What do you think?
Hey, what does this have to do with communism? Fair enough, it's only been like 3 minutes worth. It's really hard to get through this because it's so amazing. But like, you can't just be like, oh, you hate the elites, the globalists, you hate them? Yeah, fuck yeah, I hate them. Communism. That's communism, brother.
Think about a government by, for, and of the American working class instead.
I'm all for other people.
Do you feel like our
Gary
government is
Chico on my
owned by
shoulders.
big business?
He's too heavy. He's too big.
most part. Yeah.
Don't you think that they're screwing over the little guy and they're screwing over the working class to help Wall Street and help the big bankers?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
You are just getting fucking half-assed endorsements of these. You are just giving them the talking points. This is just 100% Tucker. All you're doing is Tucker Carlsoning. Like, it's just coming out there and being like, do you agree with everything Tucker Carlson or Alex Jones says? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I want to let's talk about this.
Establishment, there's people in power that are trying to set things up for themselves, and none of it's working out for us.
The people need to rise up. But the other thing people need to do is we need to work on campaign finance reform. We can't have these big corporations putting in all these dollars into the campaigns because these politicians.
Okay, 2 notes. The first point, just loving this. You just consistently say. And second point, you need to wear some sunscreen, my dude. Come on. If you're going to be out in a rally all day, get that sunscreen. You know the song.
Will listen to their big donors. So we need campaign finance reform as well as term limitations. But if you don't do campaign finance reform, term limitations is going to be a moot point because the big corporations will just rent those seats and keep putting their people in.
You're speaking to a man that's got Democrat votes from the 70s, drop forged.
So the years
in. Wait, why did you put subtitles there? I understood everything he said. I don't think that was necessary.
Independent heart, when they brought in NAFTA, you talk about the working man. When they brought that in, that's when I jumped on the parole bandwagon. Well, now it happens to be Clinton brought NAFTA in anyway. Now it happens to be Trump is sporting the same sign in my truck, hire American, buy American. Okay, I did the same thing in the 70s, and I was a Democrat.
We need a...
So things have flip-flopped, that's all.
The Democrats and the left have betrayed the working class.
So have the Republicans that go to the left.
Yeah. And by the way, they absolutely have. 100% true. I would say on both sides. That's the Democrats and the Republicans. It seems like the entire political process under capitalism seems to be heavily influenced by those with capital. Who knew? Who knew this would happen? You know a solution to this? Communism. It's the other one. Not the first one. Not the Make America Great Again part. This one. This one right here. The one that you aren't mentioning. Instead, it's just like, oh, the elites, right? And the globalists and the bankers. Don't you hate the bankers? You know, the cabal of bankers and the George Soros and the globalists. Don't you hate them? It's like, yeah, of course I do.
It's
the rhinos.
How do you look at America? Is it a two-party system, a three-party system?
Seems like a one-party system to me.
It does.
What do you think about the need for Americans to have a government by, for, and of the working class?
Oh my God, he's talking to a 3%er. He's talking to a militant 3%er. Holy shit. And there's no way Haas knows any of this. Man, this dude is decked out. That is a militia member in full effect with regalia. Most likely ex-military too.
It was our whole foundation from the beginning. That's what it was intended to be.
Don't you think our economy should serve the purpose of building?
How scuffed this all is too. And they were like, leave it in. Leave it in. Hey, can we maybe use the interview where the audio doesn't cut out every other word and people can actually hear what I say? And it's like, sorry, Haz. That's all of them. That's the whole day. That's all the footage we got. Really, everyone. Okay.
Instead of just profits?
Absolutely.
These banks have everyone. We've got.
I mean, it's almost good that one cut out. It would be a pretty bad clip to have you talk about the bankers constantly. They keep people as slaves, in debt. The bankers. You hate the bankers, right?
Truckers in debt. They can't even.
All they want is a filthy rich and filthy poor.
Oh, they're just trying to.
So, what Haas is trying to do and completely and utterly failing at, which I guess Hinkle's trying to, well, I mean, Hinkle I think is just doing it because he likes getting on Tucker Carlson, and this whole thing is kind of really meme worthy. So the memes are just fucking fast and furious right now. These just more memes than I can handle. All right, I have a high tolerance for the memes, and this is just like I'm gonna meme OD if this continues. But like, obviously, there is a strong sentiment amongst, doesn't matter if you are right or left, doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, doesn't matter if you are left-wing or right-wing, everyone is feeling the same alienation under capitalism. That's the way this was described, and yes, it has been exacerbated and has got to this point. It sucks because conservatives on the right are being fed lies by billionaires paying millionaires to tell them, hey, the cause of all your problems isn't actually this. It's the elites, the globalists, the bankers, and George Soros. Those are the ones doing it. Oh, and the immigrants. Don't forget the immigrants. Yeah, it's the immigrants. And also they're replacing white people. Yeah, white people are being replaced, so you better be scared for that, because that's really scary. And it doesn't even matter if you happen to be like a black conservative. It's scary for everyone if white people are replaced. No one wants white people to be replaced, right? So this is scary. And so that's what they think is the cause of all this. So they will get on and they'll be mad and they'll feel the same alienation under these systems, but they'll be like, it's the fucking globalists and the elites and the bankers and fucking BlackRock and Bill Gates, George Soros, not to mention the immigrants. I hate the fucking immigrants. Goddamn the immigrants. And it's the liberal coastal elites who are doing this to me, and they're all pedophiles and they're all groomers, and then it's LGBTQ plus and it's the trans and it's the gay people, and that's who's doing this all to me. And then it's like, they've done such a good job of basically like feeding you lies, getting you distracted with lies. That sucks. I want to be able somehow, and we got to find a good way to reach out to the right. Not like this. This is just fucking Red Brown Alliance fascism, but for comedy, like absolute and utter meme gold. But to reach out to them and to try and deprogram that, to try and be like, I know you think the cause of a lot of this and these problems are immigrants, LGBTQ plus, elites, globalists, all that kind of stuff. But like, I can point to exactly who is doing this, and who is profiting from this, and how this affects every other facet of society. It's like all the writings on the wall. We know the names, the numbers, we know how much these companies, the CEOs, these corporations, these investors, all of them make, and how these systems are all intertwined, and how these corporations have grown to such size that they control so many elements of our society. And this is a system that is being used and done globally for the exploitation of people all around the world. I can point towards all of it. It can be drawn out in any weird conspiratorial way you want. We can put a whole poster on the wall and show you all the lines and everything. But it's not the things they're telling you. It's not the gays. It's not the trans. It's not the immigrants. It's not the nebulous term, the elites and the bankers. There are really bad banking corporations, and there are really bad exploitative banks that use money globally to do things. It has nothing to do with Jewish people. That's just anti-Semitism. Get that out of your brain. You can push that out of the way. We can stop trying to go towards that direction. We can also talk about global corporations that exploit people for energy, resources, mining, all that kind of stuff. But it's not the gay. It's definitely not the gay. And that would be fruitful. That would be, I think, really good for society at fucking getting everyone mad at the right thing. Just pointing them all in the direction, because it's all distraction, right? If you can be mad at things that aren't actually affecting your lives, I mean, it's fascism 101. Get mad and get scared of things that aren't actually affecting your lives, and that's what you gotta fucking focus on. That's the cause of all your problems. And you need a strong man. You need a strong man to come in who's going to go after those things. Because if they don't, oh man, the trans agenda will get you. The gay agenda will get you.
Burn the country down. You know, that's my take on it. If they can divide it and burn it down, then, you know.
Oh, nice. Jimbo's custom blazers. Hell yeah. The election collection. Oh, it's Trump. What? Raise some money for breast cancer, and then you also have the Trump collection. So I guess it's neutral. It's like +1, -1 there.
The few people that have the well-to-do ones, they'll be just fine, but it's all the other little people in the world that'll lose everything.
The Democrats are always saying that they're out here to fight against, but the Democrats are the ones who are controlled by big money and the big bankers. And why do you think that is?
Do you think the Republicans aren't? What's the justification? Is it that Donald Trump is so rich that he's beyond that he cannot be bought? He's quite the opposite. Everything he does is to make more money. That's always been his thing. Sometimes he's good at it, sometimes he's terrible at it, but that's Trump.
Well, I think as the big bankers and the Hollywood liberal types, the perks from the Democrat Party. Now, our gubernatorial candidate, Tudor Dixon, is being outspent almost 10-1. I mean, Gretchen Whitmer's got about 15 million on the bank, and Tudor right now has got about 4 million. So, and it's about the same across the line. So we're getting a lot of outside money from big bankers and Hollywood, because they are getting the perks from the far left liberal part of the party, of their party, the Democrat Party.
We need a government.
Do they think that the Democrats are single-handedly funded by Hollywood? Like, don't get me wrong, Hollywood is wealthy for sure, but Hollywood alone is not bankrolling the Democratic Party. It's a lot of really big corporations, probably corporations you could point towards and you most likely hate. You know, a lot of tech companies, a lot of fucking pharmaceutical companies. There's also gun and energy and oil lobbying that goes to Democrats as well. They go to both political parties. They're playing the long game.
By, for, and of the American working class that promotes common prosperity.
Hollywood is not far left. No, it's liberal. But I mean, it's all kind of the same, I think. When you just see everything to the left of you as your enemy, then it's all the same.
Not the interests of the rentier and financial big bankers.
You're absolutely right and everything.
And if we had here in America, if we promoted economic development at the forefront, jobs, prosperity, and wealth for Americans, all Americans first, and instead of just doing it for Wall Street and the bankers and big money,
just fucking same thing over and over. This is convincing me way less that communism is something that right-wingers are into, and way more that Haas is fucking just a conservative. That's it. Like, what if we talked about more jobs? What if we talked about the bankers? What if we talked about the elites and the globalists?
No, I think the working class of this country needs to take back their government. We need a government for the working class.
People that we hire, that we vote in.
Do you think it's saying that because it has to cut out when he says the Jews? It's like, that's when the audio is suddenly cutting out. It's like, yeah, and then we need to stop all of the from taking over, because, you know, they're definitely a pestilence on society, those terrible. Don't you agree? I mean, that's a little intense. You went a little further than I was prepared to go on camera, but, you know, I hope Trump wins. Let's just say that.
To office, yes.
I think farmers are the most underrated Americans.
So basically, Bill Gates has been buying up all the farmland, and it seems like our farmland is open season for all of these, you know, big businesses and all these billionaire globalists who earn their money by leeching off of us, not through hard work, through real industry.
You have not once talked about communism this entire time. You can get rid of the second part. Why are you hurting yourself? Like, just fucking change this. I'm MAGA. I've been MAGA all along. I'm a conservative. I have conservative social values. That's what I'm about. It feels fucking great to finally live my truth. Thank you for accepting me. There you go. That, like, now you don't have to live in the shadows anymore. You don't have to be scared about any of this. You can just embrace your one true self. This has nothing to do with communism. Fucking getting on a mic, going to a MAGA rally and being like, don't you hate the globalists and the elites? Fucking the fat cats are taking everything from us, and fucking the immigrants and the fucking gay agenda and the bankers and George Soros. Like, what is that? None of this has to, like, you're supposed to be the theory guy. Is it now an opportunity to talk about the exploitation of labor, to the surplus value of labor, to talk about any of that, to talk about dialectical materialism, viewing this, like, anything, and see how they respond, or just try and, like, communist pill them, like get in there and be like, hey, I just want to tell you that it really sucks that, like, your boss fucking makes you work such terrible hours. I agree. I don't like my boss. I know. Wouldn't it be better if we had more say in the means of production? Like, wouldn't, if we actually controlled the means of production and that we weren't exploited for our labor? It's like, oh, you're sounding a little commie now, right now. What are you talking about? Hey, I just want to introduce you to some ideas. Boom. There you go. The rest of this, what does this have to? All you're doing in every interview is talking about the elites, the globalists, the bankers, and over and over and over again. I can't.
So what we want to do is we want a government by, for, and of the American working class. What do you think?
Well, that's a definite. Right now, you've got all this these what are they, GMO seeds or whatever that don't raise any other seeds. So now they're dictating what you can grow, how you can grow, all that stuff. That's not right.
So the big farmers, the big, not farmers, the big corporations are driving out the.
Wait, the big farmers? And it's those fucking farmers, those goddamn farmers, you know, toiling all day at their farms, fucking working, plowing, milking those cows. We gotta go after them, right? Right, brother?
Small farmers, basically.
Pretty much.
And we need a government by, for, and of the American.
Okay, so honestly, if you want to know the truth about why that entire industry is so fucked up in the US, here's what happened back in the day. Back in the day, farmers actually used to be farmers. They were the people who owned their own farms, produced their own crops, and sold their own crops. And at times of hardship, especially when times when more food production was necessary, the government of the United States stepped in, and this is actually incredibly based, and decided to subsidize those farmers to help them and allow them to produce more crops and get higher yields, hire more workers, do more work, produce more food, more bounty for everyone. Unfortunately, a lot of these farms and farmers starts to grow and become private corporations. Those private corporations begin to buy up the rights of the other farmers, and then they start to conglomerate into smaller and smaller companies. As they become smaller companies, they become monopolies, and these monopolies now control the entire agriculture industry. That's why the majority of all the food in the United States is only produced by a handful of companies. But guess what? And here's the fucking line and sinker. They still get the subsidies. The subsidies that were in place originally so that those small independent farmers could produce better and higher yields of food for the American people, which again is based and good. But here is how the whole thing grew into the problem we have today. And that fucking sucks. It sucks that every single industry in the US, Canada, globally, under capitalism, doesn't matter what country it is, even like Vietnam is realizing this very slowly but surely, that as a capitalist country, this is what happens. They become monopolies. They become monopolies and they devour the competition and then they dominate it. That's it. So spending all day talking about the fucking bankers and the elites are going after the farmer. You're not actually talking about the real issue and problem at hand, and that is an actual problem. Like, we should be doing antitrust. We should be breaking up massive monopolies. There should never ever be able to be a monopoly of a whole bunch of different industries. Like, I don't know, food, prison. Like, there shouldn't be private corporations involved in prison. There shouldn't be corporations that have stocks publicly traded in holding human beings in cages. That's a very bad thing. Like, there's a bunch of stuff we should probably get together and decide these things we don't want to profit off. You know, electricity and energy for the people. Water, probably another good one. Healthcare, probably another really good one. We shouldn't have the for-profit healthcare system or the for-profit drug system. We should probably just say that we as a society will be healthier if there isn't a for-profit motive driving all of the decision making, so that some people with very rare diseases can be charged $1,000 for a pill that only costs, like, I don't know, $2 to produce, something like that, you know?
Working class, not the bankers and not the...
Right, there's too many, like I say, there's a few big people that got lots of money, and that's okay, but when they start trying to burn the rest of the country down.
When they try to own the rest of us and exploit the whole country.
Right, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. That's an everything thing. That's not just the Democrats. It's not just the liberals who are doing this.
We need a government where common prosperity is in charge, not big money.
Right. Yep, very true.
Things have to change.
So I think Bill Gates is buying up American farmland.
Of course.
And I think the corporations and the banker ruling class is screwing over the working class. And what we need is a government that promotes investment in the work.
You aren't saying things. These are just phrases. You've just said 3 catchphrases in a row, and now you're like, do you agree with the catchphrases? Yeah, Bill Gates buying up all the farmland is fucked. It's a really bad thing. Communism? A crumb, please? Can we have a crumb of theory? Can you do one moment where you're like, and why did Bill Gates get to such a position of power as a billionaire where he has the ability to do this and buy up all of the private land? How did that happen?
Working class, entrepreneurs, small businesses, instead of the big...
We the people.
So the government should be owned by, for, and of the people, and of the American working class.
Yes. Yes, sir.
We need to return to our constitutional principles.
But Lancey said the words working class. True, he did say working class out loud. So I guess that counts as the communism part of the MAGA communism, something like that. He's not even using the bourgeoisie or the proletariat, but...
And then we also need to make sure the government focuses on doing things like infrastructure, taking back our oil, taking back our farm, taking back our energy, and taking big tech.
We're getting close.
Because since big tech is private, they seem like they can...
Okay, first off, why is O Fortuna playing at the rally? Don't get me wrong, I love Sma O Fortuna. I am all about that song. Just a weird thing to play before a politician comes on. Kind of satanic, you know? It's like, and now, Donald Trump. Wait, I think I have O Fortuna. Yeah, I do. Here he is. It's Jeb! Yes, Jeb can come out to the song. Only Jeb. Jeb Bush. This is Jeb Bush's election song. That tracks, okay? Jeb Bush coming out to O Fortuna. Amazing. I mean, he deserves it. He deserves it, all right? He had a rough time. So, everybody, please clap.
Don't have to enforce our First Amendment.
That's true. That's true.
America should be growing our own
That's
food.
true.
We shouldn't be paying sub.
America does. What are you saying? Why don't you push back on this? Do you understand? Are you just saying the word farmer out loud because you like the word farmers and you think farmers are just salt of the earth people? They toil the fields.
Subsidies to farmers to not grow food and buying food from other countries and having it shipped in here. I shop at farmers market every Saturday.
That's a good. God
Local.
bless. Yeah.
Yep.
The big corporations are driving out the small farmers.
That's a good. God bless. Okay. Don't get me wrong. If there's a small independent farmer and they go to the farmer's market, they sell the vegetables, you buy those vegetables, whole thing, awesome and based. This is the fucking libbiest bougie shit I have ever tried. Like, what are you doing? Buy local, buy organic. That's fucking, that's liberal activism. That's where it's like, yes, this is saving the world. And you're like, wait, no, it's not. It's like, yeah, no, it totally is. Anyways, do you buy local? I do. I drive a hybrid. I buy local. It's because I care. I care about the world and I want to make a difference. That's what I'm about. What are you about?
Basically.
Pretty much. Like, if you go down to Ohio, you can see it real good. So many farms and nothing's being grown.
The farmland should be for growing food, and we need to have a government that guarantees that.
Well,
so you just took in what he said and then you repackaged it and then tried to get him to agree again.
that's how it should be, but unfortunately, big business dictates that that's not the way they want it. They want it, not what we want, but what they want.
Small government, community ownership, and community control.
Amen. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Well, you know, I say we as Americans, we need to take control of our oil. We need to take control of our energy, take control of big tech, so to stop their censorship. And that's what we got to do. We have to make, because see, look, love or hate the Chinese or the Russians, you don't see Bill Gates going and buying their farmland.
No, why would they?
Because they own their own shit over
Exactly.
there, right?
You got
there. Now he's trying to get a little bit of a pill in there. Not communism, though. Of course, I've told you before that infrared, the tankies, a lot of them, they play team sports. So they see the world through USA bad. But that's it. USA bad, anything that challenges USA bad, good. So if we have hegemonic other superpowers that can come along, that can challenge that, maybe an alliance between a bunch of other superpowers, that's a good thing. Which kind of sucks because, yes, the USA bad. Sorry to break it to you, but the US empire is bad. It's bad for the world. It's bad for other countries. It's bad for a lot of us, as are a lot of empires. The empires in general aren't great. So the alliance should be with the working class. Not the nation states, not the corporations, not all of this. The workers united globally. That should be what aligns people. Not, you know, this one good, this one bad. This one good system, this one bad system. Venezuela bad, Cuba bad, America good, you know, all that shit.
to have a base for yourself, man, where you able to grow off of. If you always relying on somebody else to provide happiness and freedom for you, then you're not too free.
And what we need is land, right? That's what Americans need. If you don't got land, you don't got nothing, right?
Okay, I get it now. I see what he's trying to do. Terrible. He's not doing a really good job, but he's trying to steer this a little bit more into the communism part of things because he's trying to bring people into the whole land. Now, he's fucking fumbling this. It's a disaster. Coming out and being like, hey, by the way, everybody, farmers good. You like farmers, so we need farmers to farm. They need to farm the land, right? The land that should be owned by us, the people. The people own the land. The state-controlled farms, state control of the farms, farmers, land, return of the land to the, like, I can see where he's going. It's not working though. You're basically just trying to hit as many check marks as you can and pass it off as MAGA communism.
Right?
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. I mean, where can you call home if you don't own it?
Exactly. We need to secure our oil, our energy, and our resources because the Rockefellers, who are oil bankers, they want to get us off oil and turn to the fake renewable scam. So we should take over our oil. We should take over our main industries and use them to promote the little guy instead of have the monopolies own all of this to turn us into debt slaves.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something.
I assume you meant to say debt slaves, but because of the cutoff, it said debt sluts. And so I just want to know, what are debt sluts? And why are we talking about debt sluts?
My wife is from the Middle East, and in the Middle East, all the people own their natural resources. The big corporations have taken all of our natural resources. Other countries are more resourceful because they own their resources. You know, in the Middle East, for example, healthcare is 100% covered by the government because of the natural resources cover all of the expenses. Here, we have insurance that's out of control. People keep coming to the system, and we're just a number. So there's a big difference. So we need to take back our resources. We need to get away from big corporations owning what really belongs to we the people.
You know, here's what I want to know what you think. I think the reason they're after Russia and China is because in those countries, you can't buy up their farmland like how they do with ours.
Right. You know, they need to kick.
I didn't know that, so I wanted to look it up. I didn't know that countries in the Middle East were 100% public healthcare systems. The healthcare system in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has a mixed public and private healthcare system providing both good quality services. Furthermore, around 60% of services are publicly provided through the government's Ministry of Health. This includes primary healthcare, hospitals, special services, outpatient. That is good. Some of the key healthcare statistics in Saudi Arabia are the US, $2.4 billion spent on healthcare each year, 4.7% of the GDP, ranking 55th on the 2019 Global Healthcare Index. Their plans to privatize some of the public healthcare services over the next couple of years. However, the government says that services will remain free for Saudi citizens. That's actually really good. Who can get healthcare in Saudi Arabia? GP services, hospital treatment, dental treatment, prescription medicines. Like, this is under a fucking monarchy. Under a monarchy that's, like, pretty oppressive. And they still have better healthcare than the United States. There are currently 26 healthcare insurance companies. Oh, no. Of course. The Council for Cooperative Health Insurance oversees the country insurance system. They state that all private sector companies should provide health coverage for workers and their dependents. Despite this, there are so many companies not providing this. There are currently 26 health insurance companies operating in Saudi Arabia. In addition, the average premium is SAR 1759. I don't know what that is. Employer insurance policies may not provide basic coverage, i.e. no dental coverage. So, it's just like Canada. We don't got dental coverage either.
China off that thing out in where South Dakota or in North Dakota where they bought land. They just need to say, no, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, China doesn't let that happen in their country. And Bill, you know, you don't see Bill Gates going to China or Russia or these other countries. And
this is clever, by the way, because like if you frame it as by the way, because like a lot of these people do not like China. A lot of these people actually are pretty deeply xenophobic. That's just how they've been programmed by the right, the Tucker Carlsons, all this kind of stuff, right? The right-wing media system is very anti-China. So if you frame it in such a way where it's like, even China doesn't have this, then yes, of course, a right-winger will be like, yeah, even in China, they don't have that. And then it feels like, well, we just did it. That was a MAGA communism. I just MAGA communisted you.
Buying all the land he wants to starve us out.
Yeah, no, they need to just squelch
One
that
Canadian
stuff.
equals 3 sides. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
We need it to be controlled by America.
Right.
By the American people.
Yep.
If you think about it, the globalists weren't just targeting Trump, targeting Russia. They're also targeting China, right? Why do you think the globalists are so after Russia?
Well, first of all,
what are the globalists? Are they in the room right now? Can you explain when you say the globalists? Are you talking about like neoliberal trade policies? Are you talking about the Davos group? Are you talking about global trade itself? Are you talking about economic systems that trade between corporations or countries? What are you mentioning?
Well, it's a money grab. You have an actor as the president of a country.
Windscreen needed desperately. Oh, there's so many things, but
that illegally left its mother country. So what would the United States do if California tried to secede from the United States? They've already tried it. What did the U.S. government do? They clamped down on them like no tomorrow. No different than what Putin's doing over there. It's almost the same thing.
Democrats have done so many stupid things here recently. You know, we just sent another 12.
Well, that's
billion over to Ukraine, and
that is in fact a take. I mean, one could describe what was just said as a take. That it is a take.
And here you can't take care of the people here.
Supposedly they've killed 100,000 Russian troops. $13 billion for 100,000 troops. You think they would have been able to do more in 7 months with $13 billion? I know I could have. You give me $13 billion, I guarantee I could probably take out a whole state.
A lot of people won't like to hear this, but Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries.
I'm confused. Was there not enough Russian soldiers murdered for you, or did you want more Russian soldiers to be killed? Did you want more destruction? I don't get where, I just need to know where the measure is, the barometer in this.
Ever.
Yeah.
And yet here we keep shuffling in billions of dollars and we got homeless vets on the street.
Yeah.
Why not get some of that money back from Ukraine and send it to Florida right now?
The CCP, Chinese, will have to return the land that they've bought also.
Well, I'll tell you what. In China, Bill Gates can't buy up their land.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because they own it there. And if you think about it, you know George Soros.
Yes, I do.
We need a George Soros button. You know, as soon as that happens, it's like, oh, and George Soros was mentioned. There it is. Yep. There's the anti-Semitism right there. Yep. There's. It doesn't matter how long it takes. At a certain point, it will always go back to George Soros. It will always go back to. Well, what about George Soros or the bankers? What about the elites, the globalists? Come on, you have to do it.
I had a dream the other day that he passed away.
So George Soros claims.
Again, I gotta wonder. Was he using a couple slurs there or something? Why is the audio always cutting out at the same time? Also, what is this? What is this I see? I'm assuming this is probably from the trees, right? This is probably a piece of pine. I wanted to also be spit though, because I think spit would be funnier. And don't get me wrong. Hey, I stream for a living, all right? We all get strange things on our persons from time to time.
Xi in China is a threat to open society agenda. So that gets me thinking, Trump and Xi were such good pals, they got along so well. I think he's fighting the deep state over there.
Oh, it could be. Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Yeah, neat. That wasn't a thing. They weren't besties. He was trying to put a whole bunch of tariffs on China. He said he was going to go strong on China. It's the opposite direction. Everyone says that Joe Biden happens to be in cahoots with Xi Jinping. That's the criticism that comes from the right all the time.
Could be.
Same thing happens here, by the way. In Canada, Trudeau, apparently him, Xi Jinping, best friends. Best friends. Yeah. Huge besties, according to the right, according to conservatives.
You know, believe it or not, they say President Xi, he's fighting the deep state because George Soros named him the #1 threat to the open society. President Xi in China. And him and Trump got along real well.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
George Soros, I don't know if you know who he is. George Soros, he's trying to bring us to China. He said that President Xi is...
Oh, I'm muted. Oh, all right. Well, you get one mute. It wouldn't be a YouTube stream if I didn't bring the Twitch streams over and mute it. So now you have it all.
Globalists, and we should take cues from him, you know, and promote a common vision of prosperity for America. None of this handout stuff, none of this welfare bullshit. Promote entrepreneurs, promote businesses, promote industry, fight the Green New Deal and the Green Agenda.
Few meets in a row?
Imagine
Oh, no.
what we could do with all these other countries we're trying to go to war with if we shook hands, win-win trade deals, infrastructure.
And grow together.
Grow together, right?
That's it.
That lifts off. Putin, Trump, and Xi come together.
Still muted? No, I'm not. This is lies.
Fight the globalists, fight Soros, kick out the bankers, build common prosperity, promote wealth
I can see it.
over poverty.
Oh, very much so.
What I think is that we should return to the foundational principles of this country, which is based on the common prosperity of the people.
I agree with you totally.
Foundational principles of this country was built on the back of genocide, and then the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, they were written by slave owners. They were written by human beings who owned other human beings as property. That was the thing for a really long time. A lot of those slave owners actually sexually assaulted the slaves and impregnated them. That's kind of who they were. It's not a great thing to be like, we should revert.
Social media that's trending, and it's called MAGA communism. The basic idea is common prosperity. The government should be simplified, 1776, small government, but it's...
Don't get me wrong, the memes are awesome, but like, you could have actually done this as an actual political project if you didn't include the word communism. It's way too loaded for right-wingers to actually ever take and use, so that's why all of them are like, whoa, you're breaking my brain. So really funny for the memes, and honestly, the memes alone are kind of like making this whole thing worth it. But if you genuinely had a political project where you're like, I want to convert people from the right into this, you could have called it anything else. You could have called it like 1776 Super Friends, and then they'd be like, oh, awesome, yeah, I'm on board.
And not allow Wall Street and Bill Gates to buy up, promote industry, and have common prosperity for the people while not using the steel oil. What do you think about that?
That is a great idea you got there.
Is this new? Because like Haas never used to be fucking just the George Soros, Bill Gates, fucking the elites globalist guy. That was not him. He was the like, I'm the only one true Marxist-Leninist. I'm the only one who understands the works of Marx and Lenin. Everyone else is a coward who doesn't believe me. It never used to be the Alex Jones style stuff. This whole video has been Alex Jones tier, where it's just like, what do you think about the elites and the globalists and the global cabal and all this kind of stuff?
I totally, wholeheartedly agree with you.
He's shaping himself to be the new Maupin. Oh, so now the Maupin's gone. Well, I mean, they are still doing the Lyndon LaRouche Foundation shit, so it could be a little bit of the Lyndon LaRouche Foundation peppering in there. Yeah, maybe.
A community, right?
Yeah.
We're all a community, so we can't let these big businesses take that kind of control.
And you know you can call that the root word is community. Instead of their socialism, their globalist corporate socialism, we have a working class MAGA communism. If you think about it, the globalists have always been after Russia and China. They wanted to stop President Trump from making peace even with the North Koreans. So maybe there's a thing or two we can learn. Let's promote industry. Let's promote steel manufacturing. Let's bring back hard-working American working class jobs.
Well, ever since they started taking all those jobs out of the country, it's been bad for especially Michigan. You got Frigidaire, you've got all these big companies that were moved over to Mexico, and what did it do? It put all us out of work.
And that's because our government's owned by money instead of being owned by the people.
I agree.
You know, China's got its ups and downs. We all know that. But Bill Gates can't go to China and buy up their land.
Do you have a single other talking point? Like, I would have hoped you had had a conversation. This whole thing hasn't been like, I'm going to say some things, you're going to hear some things, you're then going to hear the words I say, you're going to process them, and then you're going to think about them, and then you're going to respond, and we're going to have a human conversation, a back and forth, if you will. That's what's about to happen here. The whole thing has just been like, I got a bunch of sound bites I want to tell you. You don't like George Soros. You don't like globalists. You don't like the elites. You hate them. They don't control China. I know you don't like China, but China doesn't allow them to control them, so you probably want to get on board with me. Communism. Communism, everybody. Hey, thank you, Keck.
Ack 4'7" has figured out a slogan no one can understand nor support.
I agree. Thank you for the $10 dono.
Right? Well, not without their permission.
Yeah, and what shouldn't we have the same thing where we basically say it's
Look, I'm a free market capitalist, you know.
Yeah, but China's got a lot of
yeah, but I don't want to say this one because then I kind of give away the whole game. China's capitalist too. Also with rudimentary free markets and trades with neoliberal global capitalism. But it's socialism with Chinese characteristics. Whew, as long as I tell myself that. Every day. Yeah.
free markets on the ground, on below. A lot of people don't know that. Taxes are lower there, if you can believe it. It just shows how big our government has gotten.
Well, yeah, I can't argue with you.
So.
Oh, look at the soy. Yeah.
So there's a new Twitter. It was called MAGA COMMUNISM. This false dichotomy between the left and the right. We should come together and unite against the establishment.
America was founded on the idea of government. I believe we should go back to small government, and the communities should be in.
Okay, so if you like small government, do I have a thing to tell you? What if the state owned everything? Small government, though, right? We're doing that. we're doing it together.
In the community, all the money should stay in the community.
The big money, the big businesses, are creating a corporate socialism to make sure the little guy never gets any prosperity to challenge him.
Right.
But what do you think about this new idea, which a lot of MAGA people are coming around to? Crazy, but they're calling it MAGA communism to fight the corporate socialism.
Like I said, that is what the left is saying. They make it up. They everything.
Like, you're not getting it. Okay, so I'm making up something that isn't real, and you wouldn't know if you weren't terminally online. So anyways, this isn't a real thing, but myself and a handful of other people have started to use this phrase that no one else really ever uses, so it's probably confusing to you. What do you think about that? If you also hate the elites, the globalists, and George Soros, and Bill Gates.
They say most of them are lies,
But it seems like from the people I talk to, it's more conservative, and it's not to have the government control everything, but it's to make sure the government steps in and tells Bill Gates, no, you can't buy our farmland. That's for farmers to grow food.
Well, Bill Gates is going to be caught for treason, and
so I basically know a couple things about right-wingers. We know that they hate Bill Gates and George Soros. So I'm thinking, Haas, when you go in there, we'll film you. We'll get your mic. The audio quality will be flawless. Don't worry about a thing. Audio quality is going to be so on point. And when you get in there, just keep on bringing up George Soros, Bill Gates, globalists, elites. Keep saying that over and over and over. And then occasionally be like, China wouldn't tolerate it, because they don't like China either. But if they're like, China won't tolerate it, then there'll be a thumbs up. Then they'll like it.
Marxism, Leninism, Maoism is where you poorly claim to be the only socialists, and if you sell that method to others and wait, don't turn away. It's not a pyramid scheme.
It's not. Don't worry about it.
And he'll have to give back our land.
Yeah.
That will happen. And
land should be for Americans, not for money. Now let me ask you, what do you think to against their corporate socialism? We have a working class, pro-prosperity, pro-small businesses, pro-farmers owning their farmland, no Bill Gates and the GMOs owning it, and the communism word, common prosperity. Government for the people, not for big money.
Yeah, well, the government should be for the people. The government, our founding fathers created limited government. We were just supposed to defend and build infrastructures. That's why we have all these individual states with the 10th Amendment, states' rights. The people are the fourth branch of the government. And now the fourth branch is finally speaking up because they realize that their current government, their current leaders have been stealing from them for decades. And now the roost has come home to crow.
The working man doesn't get a piece of the pie anymore. They're pushing their completely working class.
Like, could you imagine? Like, I'm sorry. Props to this dude for hearing that sentence and having to process it right away. They're pushing their corporate socialism on you. So what do you think of a response to that? of MAGA communism, I would be like, you're saying a lot of words, and I know what I'm supposed to like and or not like in that sentence, but all together in that order, this is very weird.
Well, I don't know exactly what that means, but I do believe...
Wow. Oh, man. Sometimes it delivers, you know? Sometimes.
that the corporations of America have turned left and attached part the severe when the way I look at it, we're a two-party system. We're a corporate party and an independent party, and the corporate party...
Why is it always Republicans or independents? They're not. They're so corporate. They're deeply entrenched. This is the weird thing. It's like everyone is like, I'm a proud capitalist, but it's the Democrats that are the corporate ones, and they're the corporate greedy ones, and they're the ones entrenched with the economy and all that kind of stuff. We're the independents fighting back against them. So you started that sentence with, I'm a proud capitalist. The capitalist class is going to be united on this one. The ruling class, the owning class.
Party has two factions, Republican and Democrat, and they work together, and that's why they're happy to compromise, because together in some fashion.
You know, I'm coming from a perspective. See, I call myself a communist with a capital C, but I support MAGA. Crazy enough, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, people disagree with me, but it's not like the left where they will fight you and they'll punch you and attack you for...
Right, they will attack.
The left has punched you, Haz. I have to ask. You, of all people, have asked other people to fight you. You've asked Dylan Burns to fight you. You've asked Bad Empanada to fight you. You've wanted to punch a lot of other people. I haven't seen a single leftist punch you. I think Zerka almost punched you. Zerka did like a fake out, and then you were like, oh! But that, like, Zerka's a conservative. He's a right-winger. I don't think anyone on the left has.
Attack you if they don't agree with anything you say. They will attack you. They'll attack me because I wear a shirt that says, and we know. Yeah. We know. Yeah. We know the truth.
So it's corporate socialism, where they're going to basically try to secure the monopolies of the bankers and the big businesses, and let's take over our own oil. Let's take our own energy. Let's take our own farmlands. Buy it up. What do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right about that.
So what do you think about this idea of the country, basically the working class takes back this country, and the government doesn't own everything, the small communities and the working people own their own shit, but the government makes sure that money's not in control, but the people are in control.
That's the way it needs to be. Money ain't nothing.
So that's really the MAGA communism idea. I know that it's a scary word, but it's about common prosperity instead of the socialism AOC and Bernie are trying to push.
Right, I agree. I agree. We need to take
it
back.
What do you think about this idea? It sounds crazy. It's called MAGA communism, and the communism thing means commonwealth, common prosperity. We all come together, the workers striking at the railroads, the MAGA industrial working class, the small farmers. We all unite with our power. We kick out the globalists, kick out George Soros, kick out Klaus Schwab, and stop that great reset agenda in its tracks.
Kick out Biden either.
Absolutely. Let's go, Brandon.
That's it. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, yeah.
But definitely, we all got to come together. Don't listen to the media. The media is trying to brainwash everybody.
Yeah.
And that's all there's to it.
So much, brother. I appreciate this so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, brothers. I appreciate you so much.
I did not put this music in. This is their editing decision. This is the music that is playing right now, as if these people have somehow been converted into the world of communism, because communism, again, can mean whatever you want it to mean. You can just change the definition of the word. It's fun.
So much. Thank you. It's great. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. You too. Sir, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
Again, no shade. Fucking deep respect for the person who rocks just like a bird on their shoulder at all times.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate this so much. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. God bless. Thank you so much. God bless. God bless you as well. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate the interview. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah.
Strasserism intensifies.
It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Nazbol intensifies. Truth is stranger than fiction. Because it is fiction, is obliged to stick to its possibilities. Truth isn't. Mark Twain. Probably could have gone with a quote from Marx. Mwah. Amazing. Amazing. Well done. Well done. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.